In this video, we'll focus on how to add data to the database using CSV files and also using a REST client in the Business Application Studio to query data or add data to the database. So let's get started and use CSV files to add some sample data. Therefore, we'll create a new folder underneath the DB directory, which is called CSV. And you'll then use two provided CSV files in our repository. One is for the books entity and the other one for the authors entity. Let's display the data in raw, copy all of it, and create the corresponding file in the Business Application Studio. The name of the file has to be exactly like the namespace, my.bookshop dash the name of the entity, which is books.csv, and then paste the content of the file. Or we can also download the file directly from GitHub and upload it to the Business Application Studio. If you click Save As and type in a file name, you can then upload it to the Business Application Studio, again doing a right click and upload files. We'll do that again for the authors data. Again, it's namespace dash entity name. Paste the data, save it. What we could then do is to have a look at the database and see if the data is actually loaded. So we go to the SQL tools and have a look at my connection, which I created in one of the previous videos, and see if there are any table records for the bookshop authors. Right now, there's no rows in the table. And if we do a cds deploy in the right directory, we will see that only the books CSV is loaded because my CSV file is named in the wrong way. So let's rename CSV file and deploy it again. We'll see that both files are loaded and the database table will hopefully be filled. So let's show the table records once again. And as you can see, we'll get the same rows of the author entity, which we also had in the CSV files. All right, so let's also start our server again and see if we can query the data from the UI. We should get some books, which we had in the CSV files, and also we'll get authors, which we had in the CSV files. Perfect. What we could do additionally, we can use a REST client in the Business Application Studio to query data or to insert new data. So let's create a file with the ending HTTP, which tells the Business Application Studio to use the REST client. And we can then say we want to query the books endpoint. For example, if we save the file, we can then say send request, and we'll get the same response as we had it in the UI. The only difference here is that we had a different URL. So within the dev space, we can call the server while localhost. If we are accessing the application from outside the dev space, so from the internet, we have to use the exposed port. If you're not sure anymore which port you already had exposed, go to View, find Command, and look for ports.preview, and you can see what ports you have already exposed. Additionally, what we can do now is we can send some data to the server and insert, for example, new records for the books entity. And say content type is application JSON. And we have to then provide a valid JSON. And send the request. And as you can see, we already get the response from my OData service. And you can also see in the terminal which requests or which endpoints are being requested. And if we query once again my books, we should see the existing books from the CSV files plus the new book I've inserted using the REST client and a post request. As you can see, here is my new book without a stock, without an author ID, because I haven't provided it in the JSON. If we restart the server, we should still see the data in the database without any further ado. So let's stop the server, start it again. And let's use the ports preview and access the application. Let's see, we do have the existing books plus the one I've inserted using the REST client. That's it about how to add data and how to call the application from within the dev space using the REST client. Thanks for watching.